What's going on, everyone? My name is Jasmine. Today's episode of the Slain Project takes us back to 1979 in Vancouver, BC. 4-year-old Olivia Olson was abducted, raped, and murdered from her family home by a family acquaintance. It is so important to keep talking about these cases, not only to honor the victim, but to see how the case was investigated and reported on. Don't forget to check out my other videos, and if you want to see more videos on missing and murdered Indigenous people, click that subscribe button and the notification bell. Now let's get right into it. Olivia Olson was born in 1974 to her mother Eileen. Olivia's family was from the Broken Head and Long Plain First Nations. She is described as a cute, likable child that had long dark hair. Around the time she was 1 year old, Olivia moved to the city of Vancouver, BC with her grandmother Blanche, while her mother Eileen stayed behind in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Blanche moved into a house located at 532 16th Avenue with her two nieces Joanne and Darlene. The original house has since been torn down and a new house was built in 2005. A neighbor there would say that Olivia would play with her 7-year-old daughter. She also said that Olivia was a night owl and would often be awake until 1 or 2 a.m. On the night of Friday, October 12, 1979, Blanche, who was 44 years old at the time, went out drinking with her nieces Joanne and Darlene in downtown Vancouver. While out at the bars, the woman met 3 guys and began hanging out with them, and eventually they all made their way back to Blanche's. The exact time was not given as to when they arrived home, but it more than likely was around closing time. Back at the apartment, the adults were drinking beer and watching TV. It was never stated who was watching Olivia while the girls were out at the bar, but she was a night owl and was also hanging out with the adults. One of the 3 men was a 32-year-old native man named Louis Theriault. He was from Thunder Bay, Ontario. It was never specified if the woman knew any of these men previously, but they were just introduced to Louis that night. At about 4 a.m. on Saturday, October 13, 1979, the party was still going and all of the adults ran out of cigarettes. Louis wanted to go for more smokes at a 24-hour convenience store that was located at 14th and Main Street. Louis had been playing with 4-year-old Olivia throughout the night, and he gave her some money when the subject of going to the store came up. Olivia then said that she wanted to go to the store. At the time, Blanche did not know that Louis was a predator who was stalking his prey. Louis giving Olivia money was a setup to get what he wanted, and that was to get Olivia alone. When Louis gave Olivia the money, Blanche told her no about going to the store. She was a small child and it was late. Olivia threw a temper tantrum and started crying, kicking, and screaming. It was around 4 a.m., so Olivia was probably tired and just wanted candy. This is when Louis chimed in and said that he would take Olivia to the store because he was going there for cigarettes. Blanche had just met Louis and did not want to send Olivia with him. But Blanche gave in and let her granddaughter leave to the store with Louis after he said that Olivia would be okay with him and that he would bring her right back. Multiple people heard him say this, and they figured it would be okay because the store was a short walk away. Blanche and her nieces waited for Louis to return with Olivia. After about an hour, Blanche became very worried. She waited another hour before she called the police at 6 a.m. The police began searching the area for Louis and Olivia, and it was determined that they never made it to the store to purchase cigarettes. Louis was homeless and was known to be around a set of apartments located at 33 West Hastings, which is near Main and Hastings. But the search for them did not locate either one of them in the downtown area. Finally, 3 days later on Tuesday, October 16th, there was a post in the Vancouver Sun that said there was a Canada-wide warrant issued for Louis Theriault for the abduction of Olivia from her home on Saturday morning. There was not a photo of either one of them, but the article described that Olivia was wearing a blue-gray t-shirt, blue jeans, blue running shoes, and a red jacket with white trim. Other than saying Lewis was native, there was no description of him. In 1979, televised news broadcasts and the daily newspaper prints were the main sources of information. Newspapers in this era were printed in AM and PM editions. It is not known why it took authorities 3 days to notify the public of Olivia's abduction, but it would soon bring to light the information that was needed. A taxi cab driver would say that they picked up a native man and native girl in the downtown area on the Saturday morning that Olivia vanished. The taxi driver dropped them off near 25th and Kingsway. This is near King Crest Park. Also at about 4:30 a.m. and about 2 blocks from where the cab driver dropped off the fare, a couple said they were stopped at a light when they saw a native man cross the street. He was carrying a small native girl when they saw him. This led police to search the area of Dumfries and Kingsway. Olivia's body was found near this intersection in an empty lot on October 16, 1979, just after 2 p.m. Her body had been placed in a blackberry bush that was about 30 feet from the sidewalk on Kingsway. She is described as being partially clothed, with lots of scratches from being placed in the bush. Her autopsy determined that she had been sexually assaulted and her cause of death was due to suffocation. But other reports say that her cause of death was from strangulation. Authorities would soon learn that Lewis had hopped a freight train in an attempt to get out of BC. The RCMP would find him 2 days after Olivia's body was recovered and arrest him for first-degree murder on a train near Invermere, BC, which is near the Alberta border. When found, Lewis also had numerous scratches that were similar to those found on Olivia. The RCMP had taken him to Calgary until Vancouver detectives could retrieve him. Lewis gave these detectives a statement and said that he attempted sexual relations with Olivia and put his hand over her mouth to stop her from screaming. Louis Theriault would later recant his confession and say he only produced this statement because he feared the police. He claimed one officer gave him a jump rope while he was in lockup so he could take care of himself, and he claimed another officer said he should be castrated. When Lewis was questioned by his lawyer, he denied having anything to do with Olivia's death or sexual assault. He also claimed that Olivia's family was not telling the truth by saying he left with her. Lewis claimed he left Olivia on her front porch when he could not find the store, and he continued his way downtown. His trial began in April 1980, and one of Blanche's nieces, Joanna Cinnabon, testified on the stand against him. She told the jury about how she encountered Lewis in October 1979, and that Olivia cried when Blanche said she could not go to the store. Lewis told the family that he said Olivia would be okay with him if he took her to the store. The jury would deliberate for 4 hours and find Lewis guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison and was not eligible for parole until 25 years had passed. I could not find any record of Lewis online after the year 1980, and Canada does not publicly release prison inmate information, so I am unable to determine if Lewis is still in prison. Olivia Olson was laid to rest at the Brookside Cemetery near the Winnipeg airport. After her death, her mother Eileen moved to Vancouver, and she passed away in February 2005 at age 47. Olivia's grandmother, Blanche, passed away in July 2009 at age 73. Because Lewis stole Olivia's life from her, she never got a chance to grow up and experience the great blessings that life can give us. She never had a chance to grow up and start a family of her own. Her future generations were extinguished, all because a predator put his personal gratification first. Olivia is gone, but not forgotten. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you knew Olivia, please share any memories of her, and I will see you in my next video.